Hey guys, it's Brit. Welcome to my legacy house where everything starts at home. We're just going to let everybody kind of get into the chat room. It's a little bit, there's an acoustics in here. I'm in a different setting today, but I just wanted to welcome you guys. It is week 8, and we are starting this week off with active listening. I'm just waiting for Lorenzo to come in so we can get to it. Oh, excuse me. So we can get to it. Hey, Camille. Right on time, because we're late today. Hey, Tia. So we're going to be talking about active listening. This definitely ties into conflict resolution and all that, because without active listening, there is no communication and all those things that are necessary for the building blocks of successful relationships, etc. So tonight we have Rockett, Camille, and Raina, and I want to say a special shout out to Raina and Tess, 2 of our mentors. It is their birthday today, so happy birthday, Miss and Miss Sagittarius. But just waiting for Lorenzo to pop in. Oh, here you are, Lorenzo. Hi, Lorenzo. Hi, Frank. Welcome, welcome. In case you guys don't know what My Legacy House is, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization based in Los Angeles, California, but we are actually international now with everybody that has been enrolling into our programs. And so that's an amazing thing. We love that. But what we offer are our mental health services. And Lorenzo's popping in, so I don't want to be interrupted. But we offer holistic mental health services in the manner of, hey, Lorenzo.
Hey, Brit.
In the manner of life skills and mentorship and just added support. So this is what we offer completely free of charge to anybody who is enrolled in our programs. We have mentors that you're assigned to if you are enrolled in our Quality Queens Initiative and our Whole Warriors Collaborative. Those are our men's and women's empowerment programs. And so we're definitely excited about that. We're in week 8. We've got more enrollees every week, and I'm very excited about that. So if you're in the chat room right now, definitely share this live right now with a little paper airplane to your network so that everybody can join in the conversation. Hi, Veronica. Hi, Kim. So that we can have everybody join in. So with that being said, one more thing. Sorry, Lorenzo. One more thing.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Take your time.
Job opportunities that are available through our resources, especially one of our partners, our collaborators. I won't say partners because that's kind of more of an official thing, but we definitely collaborate with different organizations. And right now we have a collaboration with Child 360 via their Sub 360 program, where they are hiring substitute teachers for early childhood education. And so if you are in education or you're interested in becoming an early childhood education advocate, teacher, definitely inbox us with just one word, jobs, and we will link you up with the individual that you need to be in contact with so that you can get started on your journey to becoming a early childhood education specialist. So with that being said, hi, Lorenzo.
Hey, Brett. How's it going?
Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
I know. Happy Monday. My week was awesome. It was exciting. However, I had some very unique challenges last week that I had to overcome, but I was able to get through it.
Okay, and give me a proud moment.
A proud moment. Wow. Being able to apply my conflict management skills, because I was dealing with quite a few conflict, situations last week where,
Okay.
I'll be very, very honest with you. I think having our in week 7, we covered a lot, and I was able to grab some of, the tips that were thrown out there. So I was able to get through it. It was a very long week, but we got through it, and I'm looking forward to tonight. Active listener. I think I definitely need that. So I've come a long way, but I want to get better.
A little bit. You have come a long way. Let me go ahead and give you your flowers now. You have come a long way, Lorenzo, let me say. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Raina and Tess are both in the chat room right now. So happy birthday. Raina and Tess are illustrious
Happy birthday, Raina,
mentors.
Tess. Happy birthday.
Yanni just entered the chat. Hi, Yanni and Karis Molly.
Hey,
so
Yanni.
We're starting to get
Frank.
more and more
I see everybody.
coming in. Yeah, everybody's coming in. Kim says, hey, family. Give me an opportunity for improvement.
Opportunity, honestly, and I'll be honest with you, I'm glad you asked that question. Yesterday was kind of one of them days where I had a chance to really think about last week, thinking about this week, this being a short week. And I recognize what I could have done differently. And that is carefully assessing a situation before going nosedive in. You know, it's almost like really just trying to take that tactical approach with the situation and really trying to analyze it from multiple angles instead of analyzing it from two angles. And that's what I want to try to do differently. I really want to maximize on all options, if that makes sense.
It does. It does. And
Okay.
that's very astute of you in terms of like slowing yourself down to actually try to apply the things that we've been talking about. I know I've been trying to exercise patience and communication and clear communication and active listening, which we're going to jump into today. But so
Amen.
I commend you for that. You know, congratulations, we'll say.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And thank you to everybody that has joined in. I'm looking forward to all your comments and all your
Yes,
blogs
our
tonight. So
comment
thank
section
you.
is always live.
I know,
It,
from
it
start to
is all,
finish.
always. And so I'm very excited about that. If you guys know anyone, if you're in the program, you know someone who would benefit from the program, 18 years and up, definitely let them know. Send them the link in our bio. Send them our actual profile, and
Our
we'll take it from
website.
there. But definitely spread the word. This is not something where we're like, oh, poor thing. This is not that. What this is we're taking your strengths and we're making them stronger. We're taking what you think your areas for improvement are, and we're doing our best to get you the resources that you need
Absolutely.
to get yourself to where you want to go. And so that is what we are aimed at here. This is not a pity party over here. This is just a party.
Absolutely. We're
Okay.
here to add value. That is our goal.
Absolutely. We are supplemental. So we're going to start
Supplemental.
getting our mentors in here. I want anything you have left to share or anything before we get started, Lorenzo?
No, just, once again, thank you for everybody jumping in and tonight, happy Thanksgiving to everybody and your families, and definitely be safe and enjoy the holidays. But thank you.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you in the chat,
All right.
Lorenzo.
Okay.
Start getting folks in here. Rockett's coming from his professional situation over here. Come on in, Lorenzo. I'm not Lorenzo. I call everybody Lorenzo when I'm trying to get them in here. Hey, Rockett.
Ha! What's going on?
I'm so, I don't even know why I even expect you to be normal.
You ready? You already
I'm,
know what's going
getting,
on.
I'm just getting everybody into the, how was your week?
My week was good. My week was good. I
Okay.
was
I love how everything comes together. So give me an opportunity. Give me a proud moment.
let me see. What was a proud moment? Uh, I don't know.
You don't know your proud moment, Rockett?
Of the week, I'm just trying to think because I was sick majority of the week. I wasn't
Are you
feeling
feeling
good,
better?
so no, feeling
How
all
about
right.
overcoming
Feeling
that
okay.
sickness? How about that?
Man, it's
Come to the
still
immune
trying to stick
system.
with me. It's still trying to stick with me right now. So I got my tea. Still trying to be with me right now, but I am feeling a little bit better. So
Good.
that was good.
Okay,
I just,
okay. Give me an opportunity for improvement then.
yeah, opportunity for improvement. Should have stayed in the house and got some extra rest.
Uh,
I probably would have been that much better. But no,
well,
I'm feeling better.
okay. Well, I mean, that's good. That's all we can ask for. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So we'll go with Camille because I'm going to come to you last, Raina, for a good reason.
Hmm.
Millie,
Yeah.
Camille, how was your week?
My week was good. It was very busy with work, but it was good. It was productive.
Okay. And give me a proud moment.
I started a home project that I've been putting off for about 2 years. So finally started doing my holiday home project, getting a room clean because I got family coming into town for Christmas. So we're gonna try and get that together. So that's it was a proud moment for me, just taking that first step because I've been just kind of avoiding it.
Okay. Oh, you're
Okay.
slaying the procrastination demon, and I like it. Give
Yep.
me an opportunity for improvement.
Because I was so busy with work last week, I didn't spend much time with my family, which is like a big thing for me. I like to spend a lot of time with my sister, my niece, and the rest of my family at least once on my days off, but I didn't have any. So it kind of made me a little bit sad.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something I need to make sure that you know, I'm keeping that work-life home balance in check. So.
That is so important. So important. So we've got people in the chat saying, we got Yanni that says, woo, look at Raina, ice cold. International. Oh, ZP is probably shooting those eyes at Rockett, because he's probably like, you all right, bro? Joni says, y'all looking divine and fine. Thank you, Joni. And then Tia says, yes, Raina, looking beautiful. And then Yanni says, y'all on here looking all good. I don't know if I can pay attention. Yes, you can, girl. Yes, you can. Joni says, birthday baddie Ray Ray. And then we have CJ that entered the chat. Good evening, good people. Hey, CJ. How's everybody
Oh
doing
yeah, it
tonight? I
is
want
her
everybody to
birthday.
everybody wish Raina and Tess, who's in the chat room, a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Raina.
Happy
Thank
birthday,
you.
Raina.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Thank you all.
tell us how your week was. So how was your week?
It was a little chaotic, just a little bit. I had some birthday events going on. I worked. It was just a little chaotic with a bunch of details and moving parts. So just a little bit chaotic. But it was good though.
Well,
But
give
it
me
was
a proud
good.
moment. Give me a proud moment.
Ooh. See, I'm like Rockett. I'm like, what? Um,
See, y'all know I'm gonna ask this every
I
single week.
know, but it's funny because it's easy to point out stuff that either didn't go the way it planned, or you know, you can always find a thorn of the day, but sometimes the rose is a little hard to find. Um, let's see. Proud moment. You know what? It's gonna be an oxymoron to what I'm gonna say for my improvement, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I guess the last few weeks I've been letting work affect my mood and my emotions, and things I'm going through at work affect how I feel at home and my mental state and stuff. As far as when I'm away from work, sometimes that just disconnecting and detaching from work sometimes is hard. But I've been doing very, very well this last week and a half or so. So I'm proud of myself because I used to get upset about things, but today, this week has been really good.
Good,
So,
good. And so then, in that vein, give me an opportunity for improvement.
So in that same breath, I'm gonna say that also has to do with my emotions, because sometimes I have the tendency to, either when something's going wrong or sometimes it's not going my way, I tend to make things a bigger problem than it really is. And so I've been working on that, because there were some details about my birthday festivities that were just going wrong, and I started turning into like a birthday girlzilla. And so that was the downfall this week, okay? The emotional management was the downfall this week, but
Okay.
yes.
Well, that's fair.
So, yeah.
At least you know you caught it, and you're like, okay, you know what? I can't do this, because if I do this on my birthday, what am I going to do at my wedding?
That part. That part.
All right. Well,
Yes,
we
that
are
part.
jumping into another leg of our conflict management resolution, but it is active listening. Active listening. So important. Very rarely do people get into conflict or blow-ups when they are exercising active listening. And so we're really just going to be diving in and breaking down the different types of listening, or different types of cues that you can give. Hey, Long Beach, Vegas girl. That you can actually give off when you are active listening, or when you're working towards active listening, because it's a process. It's a work in progress, and it's a skill that not everybody is strong in, I'll say, and we can all use that improvement. So jumping right in, I want to know in the chat, without knowing any of the definitional concepts, y'all know how it goes, who thinks that they are an active listener on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being I'm deaf in terms of listening, and 10 being, oh, I could hear a mouse doing you know what on cotton. So
7.
1 to 10 in the chat. Oh,
right. I'm a
Just know
smooth
Jumping
7.
ahead in the chat, Rocky.
8.5.
Chat.
okay, Rockett. Okay, Rockett, you say you're a 7. And
I'm
then
a
why is
7.
that?
It's just safe.
Okay. Why?
7 is safe because I can improve, but I do feel like I do feel like I'm an active listener. I
He
feel
threw
like I
his
do
hand up
take
like
my
he was gonna say a 10.
He threw
listen,
like he was playing dominoes and was like, "Give me
listen.
10."
7. I'm gonna tell you right now. 7. I feel like I'm pretty good at listening. I'm.
Okay.
I know. You know what? I'm great at listening. There's moments though when
Confident.
I'm not. There's moments when I'm not.
So
And
you're
if
like Tia
I'm,
Georgina. She says she's a 6 selective.
that's why I said 7 is, right there in this room. I don't want to go 6 because I feel like I'm a little bit, because I'm not always irritated or angry or upset or things like that. But when it gets to that moment, I might not listen at all. But majority of
Okay.
the time, I do try to lend an ear and keep an ear open before I go to respond or how I go about things. So
That's fair. Tess says she's an 8 with the big eyes. And then Yunny says she's an 8, but thinking about it. And then Cinco says 7. Okay, y'all are up there, huh? Y'all are up there. Raina, where do you think you rank on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say like an 8 or 8.5 because I'm very I cue onto things. I read gestures. I'll run stuff back to you while we're talking, just so I make sure I caught it. But I do have a tendency to scroll off sometimes. Like while you're talking, I'll be thinking about like, okay, what am I going to say next? Or, oh, like something you might say will spark a story I want to tell you. And then sometimes I'll be thinking about it and not thinking about what you're saying sometimes. So I do scroll off sometimes. But other than that, I'm pretty good. I'm
Okay.
pretty good.
Camille.
I would give myself about an 8 as well for my active listening. For whatever reason, people are kind of drawn to me and they just like to talk about whatever is going on with their lives. So I attribute that to approachability and, my active listening, because if I wasn't, able to have these interactions with people, then no one would come and talk to me. Because it's not like I go around asking people like, hey, do you want to talk? Is there anything you want to talk about? People just kind of, so there must be something to it. So I'm gonna give myself an 8.
Okay. I think those are all fair assessments. I actually think,
mhm.
Rockett, that you kind of lowballed yourself, actually, while I'm talking
I
all the
just,
junk.
that's what because
Just
I
to be
know it's
gracious.
important
Just be
for
You
me.
can try
I
to
gracious.
just
say a
want to,
safe number.
I'm
Why
humble.
you can't
I'm
even just be
humble.
gracious and say thanks, Brit?
Nah, yeah, I appreciate it. I know I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be humble. I'm not gonna go up there because I don't want to. Deep down, I could be a 13, a 15, or something like that. You say 1 out of 10.
He
I
Well,
did.
said, look, now
I
he's
did.
stretching.
You stretching. You stretching now.
no, no,
So
no, no,
here's
no,
what I
no.
want to say. So this is what I want you guys to think about when we talk about active listening. I want you to think about your body language. When you think about your body language, do you make appropriate eye contact? Do you notice the body language of the other person? What about the tone of voice to the other person? Do you maintain an open body posture? Do you lean towards the individual if you're sitting? If you're sitting down, do you lean towards the individual who's speaking? Nodding your head and understanding what is your body language really saying? And sometimes you can't really see your body language. So that's something to be mindful and intentional with when it comes to listening. I know that I used to fold my arms if I was not trying to hear anybody what they got to say. Fold my arm because it was a barrier for myself. But that's one of the barriers, one of the blockades to active listening, because you really aren't letting all the information come in because your mind is set on closing yourself off. Also, attentiveness. Yunny says, oh, my eye contact is on point. Now my body language, okay.
That's
That's
what you got
fair.
from the upside down emoji.
Right. Right. So then in terms of being attentive, how attentive are you? Are you listening with your full attention? Do you have your phone? Are you scrolling? Are you finishing the other person's sentences? Now, some people think that that's like an indication of soulmateness. When you
Oh,
can
I'm
finish
guilty
somebody
of that
else's
finish
sentence.
sentences. I'm so guilty of
Do,
that.
and
That's
you know
one way.
what? A lot of times, say it again, Camille.
That's one way to think of it.
That's what I was going to say. That sound okay.
That's one
That's a
way.
positive way to make it. You're my
All
soulmate. I
right.
can finish it. I know on my end. If I'm finishing y'all, I'm
I
assuming
was
what you're
being
gonna say.
exaggerative when I said soulmateness, but but interrupting someone is a way of not being very attentive to what they're saying. And then think about your responsiveness. Now, talking about other things or squirreling off when while the other person is talking. Planning your response while they're talking. If you guys hear anything that is what you do when you're listening to somebody, you can kind of note that down, because these are the things that either prohibit you from being an attentive listener or an active listener. Yanni says soulmates can be friends. Absolutely. I'm not talking about romantic. I didn't say twin flame now, but like soulmates are just people that you have that intense connection with, you know? Tess says, I've really tried to zero in. Phone away or down, posture facing the person, and some eye contact. I think I only guess finished sentences with people I know very well. And that's fair. And we're going to talk about all of this. I'm just kind of throwing out because I didn't tell you guys what the elements or the different concepts behind active listenings include, but it's definitely the attentiveness, the responsiveness, being easily distracted, judging the person ahead of time before they get to finish what they're saying. Listen. Now, do you listen for understanding? Do you guys think you listen for understanding?
Sometimes.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. You don't listen to respond?
It just depends on who I'm talking to and what we're talking about. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, it does depend on where the conversation is went. Now, if we're arguing,
Right.
I might be listening to respond.
Right.
Because I need to point out
Petty
some
patty.
faults that I might be needing to point out some faults because I'm hearing you say one thing and I'm trying to make sure I'm hearing it right. So I'll repeat it because I got a rebuttal that I'm like, well, that don't go with this. So
look, see, he hit you with the active listening cue and then the counterproductive
hit you with the petty
right
patty. He hit you with the petty patty.
I can get my petty wop on.
Petty wop.
Get my petty wop.
Tia Georgina says, I have really good eye contact, but I definitely plan. Cinco says, I always got my phone out, but I be listening. Tess says, friends on the conversation and the person. I think, depends on the conversation and the person. And then CJ says, great point, world. So in terms of listening for understanding, you want to listen for feeling and content, because here's what I think that a lot of things go wrong, and I could be wrong. This is not the only school of thought, but people only listen to the words that are being said when they say, oh, I'm listening. You said this, when we know that there's feelings, there's content and context. Sometimes things need to be asked to be clarified. Do we ask for clarification when you don't understand something, or when something can mean multiple things? You know what I mean? Yeah. Do you hear what you want to hear? Or do you attempt to understand what the other person's position? All these things, your body language, your attentiveness, your responsiveness, and whether or not you are listening to understand what the person is saying. Because it ain't all about the person who's receiving the message sometimes. Sometimes it's the person who's venting. So now with all of that, you guys still feel like your rankings are the same? I'll wait.
Yep.
He said, I'll wait.
Same. That's why, 7.
That's my story. I'm sticking to it. I'm still at 8.
Mm-hmm.
What about you guys in the chat? Are you guys still at the rank that you guys thought you were when we break down different elements of active listening?
Nope. I mean, I feel attacked. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel attacked just a little bit. Like, because I do plan when people are talking. I do, but I also.
But is there a difference between planning and taking mental notes?
Okay, true.
Okay.
That is very true, because I do that. But I feel like it's the part where I'm leaning in, I'm listening, I'm asking questions. So it's like the list, the pros and the cons, like they're reaching. They're up there, but they're both intense, if that makes sense. So where does that leave me? A 5? Like, I
don't think you're a 5. I think, what did you say at first? You were a 7? You said you're
I
8?
said, look, I was coming in strong.
She said
8.5.
She said 8. I heard her. She said
8.5.
Okay, so
Exactly.
so
Listening. She
Yummy,
said 8.
yeah. So Yummy says, so my therapist taught me to say, what I heard you say is that what you meant to say? And then ask what they need, a solution or just an ear. And I think those are great tools, because a lot of times we don't. And we are talking about that today, because when you ask for clarification and you ask for the understanding, because you want to make sure you're on the right track. If you're on 2 different tracks, and let alone 2 different trains, then that tends to do more harm than good, especially when we're talking about conflict or getting somebody through conflict. CJ says he's a 9, and then Cinco says a 7.5 now. So I'm 7.5. Look, and that's fair, because we all have room to grow and we all have room to fall, right? And so what we are here doing, especially in light of the holidays, because I have to do this really quickly. The holiday season can be very, very difficult for individuals on an emotional level in terms of mental health. So a lot of times this is when families get together, and if you've suffered loss, or even, and not even just like in terms of death, if you're grieving a loss of a relationship or a loss of a family member or even a pet, it can be very difficult, because we get together and we have family time during these holiday seasons. And so I think it's important that we're talking about active listening during this time, because we have to hear what people aren't saying too. We have to hear what people aren't saying, and you have to reach out to the people who are normally so strong. Reach out to the people who you haven't heard in a while. If you scroll through your text messages and you normally would talk to people and you haven't gotten them up on your screen, reach out. Because that's a part of active listening too, because that can actually save people's lives, because suicide rates skyrocket. And I mean, last year was crazy, but you still have the seasonal things that come up in terms of depression and anxiety. And we just want to make sure that we are extra available to those in our circles, and active listening is going to play a part. So I just wanted to say that real quick before we started keying in here.
Before we go, I just wanted to show you, like, this move that I just did. This is my listening move. Does it seem like I'm listening? Like,
no, because you all crossed up and blocked off.
You crossed up and
my
crossed
body
out.
language. This is
And
my
I
body
feel like
language.
we're
I'm
now
trying to
further
see, like,
away
does
from
this
you.
not look like?
Yeah.
No, because I've sat back and I'm comfortable, and I'm like, I'm enjoying what you're saying. This is like me enjoying what you're saying. Like, yes, I'm listening. Does it seem like that? Doesn't give y'all that?
Rockett, so I'm gonna say this, but I mean it with love, because I say everything to my friends with love. I think you missed the mark on this one. You did not understand the assignment.
I'm gonna say minus 1 point. Like, I'm gonna say minus 1 point.
I could have sworn I said lean into the person if you're seated. I could have sworn I said uncross yourself.
Rockett straight it out. He went the opposite direction.
Rockett went way left.
Because I'm a big dude, so I
Rockett,
it can be intimidating when I lean forward.
Rockett, we're all 2 inches in here. Okay.
I wanted you to see my whole body, so you know I'm comfortable.
I don't want to see your whole body, Rockett. We don't want to see that. We don't want to see that.
Comfortable. You can see my knees, so hey, I'm listening.
Where do you see them kneecaps for?
We sure don't, because you know what it is. I know what it is. He wanted to see that he put lotion on today. That is what's happening. So, in my own lane, 22 says I'm an 8. If it's an argument, then most of the time I'm setting up my rebuttal. Regular conversation, I'm listening to really hear the other person's feelings. Okay, and I think that, you know what? A lot of times we can diffuse arguments when you use the regular conversation listening skills with the argument, because a lot of times the arguments are just conflicts caught on fire. And so if you want to be able to, if you're just there for the sake of arguing, then join a debate team. But if you are there for a relationship and you want to actually learn and get to an understanding, which is what should be happening, then I think it's important. Now Rockett's face is all in the camera.
Right, they over here saying back up.
I'm listening. Lean in, right?
It is in the kneecaps. I'll take it.
Hey Presley, welcome. We've got more people entering the chat. So when we talk about practicing, okay, hold on. Lorenzo's he's trying to spit some game for. He's trying to come for.
See, thank you,
Lorenzo.
Thank you,
hold on,
Lorenzo.
y'all. Hold on. This is why I like this
granddaddy
platform.
Cliff notes.
This is, hold on one second. This is why I love this platform, because we can actually go through and poll the audience and actually get more than just the people on here talking, because Lorenzo is in here capping for Rockett. Apparently a man with his
Listen.
legs
He said
crossed
capping.
indicates he
Oh,
is focused
God.
on the conversation and giving the other person his undivided attention. And you know what? I'm not going to say you're wrong, Lorenzo. I'm going to say if we were all in the same space and we were sitting in a cigar lounge sipping cognac, then sure, because he's relaxed in an armchair. But we're here giving life skills. Come on, bro.
And I'm
Well, you
focused
put the
because you
knees
guys are
back up
talking.
too.
You guys are talking,
Okay.
and I'm soaking it in. I'm focused.
Showcasing these knees.
Lorenzo's on to something. I give it to him.
Thank
But
you,
only if we were
Lorenzo.
in a cigar lounge or in the same space. We're not.
But if
Boom.
you, I guess if you're thinking about it, if men are at a business meeting, they got
Are we at a business
their
meeting?
legs are
Are we men?
crossed. They're
Are
This
we
is
men at a
business to
business
me.
meeting?
This
Are
is
we
business to
men?
me. This is serious.
This is the house divided right now.
It is the house divided. Look, the
This
men,
is serious.
look. Rockett is outnumbered today.
Thank you,
And so the
CJ.
men are in the chat room
Thank
capping
you,
for Rockett.
CJ. I
They
appreciate
feel bad
it.
for him. They
No,
feel
I'm
bad for him.
listening. This is a sign of I'm
Rockett,
focused.
I ain't never seen you sit like that.
I have. I said like this before. The camera be up so you can't see my knees because I don't have lotion on sometimes because I'll be in the
Well,
house
how about
chilling.
this? If you tilt your camera down, we won't see so much ceiling, then we can see more of you.
Okay, there we go.
There
Damn.
you go. Now
Lorenzo
we
says
get
this is an
closer.
official business meeting. I said, are we men at a business meeting? We are not.
For
So,
men and women.
right. We are people at a business meeting. Look, they are capping for you. Look, you know what? I like that. Support y'all, brother.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm
Support your
talking
brother.
about.
CJ Lorenzo 50. Go ahead.
Kevin Samuels pose.
So back to the planned schedule. You guys are nuts. I love this holiday spirit though.
Wait, who said that? Oh,
Eric.
Oh my goodness. All right. So when we come bringing it back, talking about active listening and the skills for practicing it. Yes, E, we are talking about practice because I saw that comment that you said we're talking about practice. We are absolutely talking about practice. We want to think about the ways that we can practice communicating and actively listening. So communicate to another person that you actively listen. How do you guys communicate to another person that you're listening to, that you are there and engaged, other than crossing your ashy knees? What are the signals that you give to another person? Camille, we'll start with you.
For me, posture and the direction that which my shoulders face, right? So I always square up to the person that I'm talking to so that they can see the front of my body, because then if you're not, you feel like they don't have your undivided attention. I'll nod in agreement as if to say like, oh, I'm tracking you. If it's anecdotal and it's cute, I'll flash a smile or something like that. Just to let them know, like, hey, every word you say, I'm hearing you, I'm listening to you. And then there's sometimes where, if we have a pause, or if someone's like, oh, I feel like I'm talking too much. No, it's okay, but let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You said this. So those are just a couple of things that I do when I have conversations with folks, just to make sure that they understand that I'm actively listening.
Okay, I love that. Raina, what do you do to communicate to another person that you're actively listening?
I'll ask questions on whatever they're talking about. I'll ask questions. I'll like Camille said, I'm leaning in. My shoulders are towards them. I'm looking them in their eyes. Maybe sometimes a little too intense, but I'm looking in their eyes. Yeah, that's just about. I think that's some of them that
Okay.
I do.
Rockett, other than sitting in your imaginary armchair in the cigar lounge that we are not sitting in, what do you do?
I square up. And no, I'm playing with you. I'm playing. Today I'm on one. Okay.
The Russell Westbrook square up.
Listen. I do lean in. I ask questions, or I relate to certain things when they're talking about certain things. I try to relate it to things that I might like, seeing if we're on the same. I'm on the same road with them. Like, are we on? Eye contact. Make sure I keep eye contact and, smile and nod just to make sure that they know that I'm engaged and I'm just paying attention to, the type of their body language. Like, I can see if the situation that they're talking about has got them feeling a certain way. So I try to be in a comforting position where they feel comfortable to express themselves and just, things like that.
I will say, Rockett, you do give the eye contact, like especially when you're talking one-on-one with someone, you do give the eye contact and you do splash a huge smile. You always I'm like, this fool is really happy. I was like, he's really happy.
Listen, if you like, I'm talking to this dude and he's happy that he's listening to me, you're like, I'm gonna share more.
I think that's why they share with you.
They be like, they didn't told me everything. I didn't know they was gonna tell me that, but okay.
Right.
No judgment.
Right.
No judgment.
Right. So Kim says, ask clarifying questions. Absolutely. That's definitely a surefire way to show that you are actively listening to something that somebody is saying. Yunny said, Brit is not letting up. No, I'm not, Yunny. In My Own Lane says, eye contact is key. Eye contact is key. And then Tia Georgina says, how do you make sure you're relating and not one-upping someone? I think that's a good question. How do you guys think you would handle that question? Like how do you make sure that you're relating and not one-upping when you guys are talking to somebody to make sure they feel like they're being listened to?
Go ahead, Rockett.
Go ahead. I'm gonna steal your answer.
One of y'all go.
Well, what I was going to say is to say, I hear you. I understand. And then put it back on them rather than saying, well, what I do is, so if someone tells you, I felt hurt when someone did this, instead of saying, well, yeah, one time somebody said something to me and it hurt me too, you could say instead, oh, I understand how you feel. It probably hurt you because is this why it hurt you? So that you're kind of relating to them, but you're not comparing stories. You're not trying to qualify their emotion that they're trying to convey to you. It's a really good question, but I think that and it's tough in conversation because you want to give people feedback to say that you're not alone. I've been through something similar, but you also don't want them to feel like it becomes a competition where we're just swapping stories and my anger is better than yours, or I feel more intensely about this or that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think that is very important. I think that just asking questions and not relaying stories is really good because it invites them to talk more. If you're inviting them to say more, then you're not taking over. You're just kind of guiding them to like spill out more of how they feel so that they're not feeling one-upped. You know what I mean? So I think that's a very important. That was such a good question. Yunny says, identify and relate to the feeling, not the situation. That is perfect. That is perfect. If you can identify with, yeah, man, you know what? I can see how you would feel that way. I think I would feel the same way too. I think that's when you can share and say, I would feel the same way. And then you encourage them to keep talking and keep, because then now you're practicing listening and continuing to listening and being supportive. I think that's great.
I know there's one thing that I do when people are talking to me and I know they feel they're not too sure about how they should feel about a situation. Like one thing, I've been saying this for years and I always said it to anybody, feel your feel. Ain't nothing wrong with feeling your feel. So whenever we start to have a conversation, I'm like, man, you can feel any type of way you want. Feel your feel. You're not wrong for feeling the way you feel. Now, if we want to get to the bottom of it and things like that, then that's what we work on from there. But until then, feel your feel. Don't try to cover it up. Don't try to hide it. Don't try to do this. Feel your, especially when you're talking to me. Like, go ahead. Be vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because I'm not here to put you down or do anything like that. It's just me and you, and I'm gonna listen to what you gotta say. And I'm going to just encourage you to feel whatever way you want to feel because you're obligated to them.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. And I'm not going to blast anybody because this is a recorded line. But you got some men in the chat room who said they can't basically control their emotions or their physicalities when they're talking to someone who is attractive. And so they not even listening. They're just gonna dumb out and just agree because they think maybe they're gonna get lucky. I don't know,
No,
it's
no. Done
interesting
sat for that
when
a few
people don't
times.
want to, you know what I mean? I think that's something that's for women to definitely consider, that, if somebody's just like, oh yeah, not really listening, they may be paying attention to other things that you may or may not want to stick around for. So let me ask this. So in terms of responding effectively, I think we kind of touched on it a bit, but some ways that we respond can show or clarify that we are understanding and listening. For example, do any of you guys paraphrase? And what is paraphrasing to you? I want to hear it from you.
I guess paraphrasing to me is, I guess, repeating what you said, but in my own words, to where I'm letting you know that I understood what you just said.
Okay. You guys
Agreed.
have anything else to add? Agreed.
Agreed.
Camille?
No, I think that's fair. That's a fair assessment. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that paraphrasing and reflection of feelings, because those can seem different, but when you paraphrase, you're letting them know, okay, this is what I got. And I think Yanni touched on this earlier. This is what I got from what you said. Is that what you meant to say? Or is that what you meant for me to understand from this? And if not, what would you like me to understand? Because I was talking to a friend once who was very angry about a work situation and went on and on and on, about why he was upset. And then, so I started getting confused with what the issue was. And so I said, okay, so this is what I'm hearing, but can you tell me what your actual issue is if you had to pick one? Because sometimes we just diarrhea of the mouth and we just keep going. And we don't realize that we haven't really said or communicated what our issue is if we're seeking advice or if we're just venting. But for sake of understanding, I think that's important. So Kim says, more measure of understanding. Absolutely. If you can show, like, I'm trying to understand, I'm trying to clarify, then I think it becomes a two-way conversation, and the person doesn't feel as bad for venting to you because they feel like you guys are talking. So when we talk about clarifying questions, there are two types of questions, right? We have closed-end and open-ended questions. Who thinks, like, what do you guys think is the best? And I'm not saying that there's a right or wrong answer, but what do you think is the best form of question to ask when you are exhibiting active listening? So we have closed and we have opened.
I'd say open.
Open.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All three of you guys say open?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Why?
I think it kind of gets them to elaborate more on what they're talking about, and it just kind of gives you more to jump in on. I guess it's more to lean in and more to, yeah, you get what I'm trying to say?
I feel like, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess.
I feel like it gives them more like when it's open-ended question, it's like you're interested and you want to dive in more to the, like, yeah, come on, okay. So and they's like, okay, so now I feel more comfortable to share because he's interested or she's interested in what I'm talking about.
Okay. Okay. Camille?
A closed-ended question is, it's kind of finite. It's like, oh, this is what you meant, right? You can only answer one or two ways. You can answer yes or no. Or you can say, is what you said to mean this, which is an open-ended question that requires a response that would further continue a conversation. So I just feel like closed-ended questions are a little bit finite in terms of continuing to have someone open up to you. Now, if your goal is to get them to stop talking and you start asking a bunch of closing-ended questions, someone's going to feel that, right? They're going to be able to feel like, I'm looking at my watch, I'm trying to get this, I'm trying to get a move on here. But I think open-ended questions kind of lend themselves to further engagement and more open and honest communication between, the two parties. That's
okay. So in the chat, Lorenzo says open. In my own lane, I'm sorry I don't know you guys' first names, but in my own lane says open. E says cracked, but that's just. And then Kim says depends on the person's emotional state. Closed can be best to identify the issue. Joni says closed questions are yes or no. Open-ended, you get context or content. YOLO says I've had open-ended questions backfire, and the person I was listening to shut down because they told me I was making them nervous.
Ooh.
And that's an all fair statement. So I'll say this, Kim, you are right. It depends. It depends on what information you are trying to get. Because while closed-ended questions can be yes or no, what closed-ended questions are questions that have one answer. One answer, whether it's yes or no, whether it's red or blue, whether it's mad or sad, those are closed-ended. And those are very effective questions to ask when you are trying to get to the root of the problem. And then once you get to the root, you can start asking. You can start asking open-ended questions to get the context of where they really are in terms of that issue. So the answer is depends. Both are very useful tools and don't really box, but if you use them the wrong way, they can box you in, or they can make it so wide ranging that the person gets lost in the sauce, or they get intimidated, as Yolo pointed out. And so then In My Own Lane says, preach, my brother, on point. When you're really listening and want to understand where they're coming from, you got to be open. Absolutely. And that's especially if somebody is venting. When someone's venting, you can not sit back like Rockett, but you could.
But I'm
in
there now.
You all in there. I see it. But but you definitely want to give them the space to kind of unload, and then you can start to narrow in on what it is that they need, if they need anything. And I think Yanni also made a good point earlier. When you ask your friend, however they can receive this, would you like me to help you find a solution, or are you just venting? I just want to make sure I am the best audience for, in the best mental state.
Men, please let men know this, because when you guys come to us with stuff, we want to help.
You want to fix?
I think that's what we think, like, oh yeah, we want to fix this. Come on. You gotta let us know, because we'll be trying to fix something that you didn't even really want us. You just want us to
You're like,
hear you.
Dude, I already fixed it. Can I just?
I'm like, oh, we just, because we're good at giving some advice. Oh yeah, you should do this. You should do that. I'm telling you, just let us know.
And I think that's a great quality.
Trying to fix something.
Yeah, I think that's a great quality that men have, because they don't want the women in their lives, or the younger people in their life, or the older people in their lives to suffer. They do want to help. They are hardwired to help. And so I think it's important that if you have good relationships with people, to say, hey, it's okay if I vent to you for something, or can you help me with something? I think if you, as the person who is going to be doing the talking to an active listener, because this is a two-way street, remember. So if you need to go and talk to someone and you need them to be their best listening self, it's important that you kind of give them the roadmap of what road they need to walk down and how, in order to help you. Because if you're really blocked, you need to let them know, hey, I need some help with something. And then they know to go into problem solving mode. I was going to say something inappropriate, and so I didn't want to go that way. But when you say, I just want to vent, then that lets the listener relax a bit and really just take in and say, oh, okay, and really be the cushion that person falls into. And I think that's important too. So let me see. I'm trying to make sure I don't have any questions in the chat. Oh, we got people. So you know what? Hey, PSA time. For those of you guys who are in the chat right now, welcome to My Legacy House, where everything starts at home. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization providing holistic mental health and social services to y'all. I'm gonna start saying that to everybody who's interested. So what we do in terms of the holistic mental health is we have two programs. We have a Quality Queens initiative and a Whole Warriors Collaborative, where we empower men and women by providing life skills. This is the life skills program right here. And e-mentorship, where we partner them with a mentor to help them walk through the things that they are walking through in terms of their lives, and to provide resources, whether it is conventional or traditional mental health services in the form of therapy, or whether they just need a direction to go in terms of jobs or placement or getting into school, things like that. We're really aimed at evening out or balancing out the whole person holistically, without pharmaceuticals and all that. If they need pharmaceuticals, we send them elsewhere. We provide that resource elsewhere, but that's what we're here for. And so every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, We meet right here on Instagram Live and we talk about a life skill. Today happens to be active listening, and we're in week 8. It's a 52-week program, and we have 3 mentors that come on and provide their expertise, their experience, their anecdotal and professional experience if they have it. And we really just walk things out. We are your friends that you didn't know you needed, but always have. So that is My Legacy House. It's free of charge for those who want to enroll. You go to the link in our bio and you apply. You have to be 18 and up. That is literally the only requirement, is the age portion of it. And we do our best to match you with the best person based on your questionnaire, and we walk this thing out with you. So follow us, like us, share us with your friends and family, and we will get this party started and continued. We have people who have entered the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, guys. So I'm getting a little bit better with my commercials, don't you think, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That was smooth.
Smooth.
That's
it
why
smooth?
every time
Yeah.
she goes to talk, I'll just be like, go ahead, get that commercial in.
Y'all are so silly. So what do you think some blocks to active listening are? The chat, that's for you too. What are some blocks? What are some things that prohibit, roadblocks that could interfere with your communication in terms of active listening?
Listening to respond. Because you're not
Okay.
listening, you're thinking about what you're going to say next or what your next rebuttal is going to be. So you're not listening to what they're saying. You're just waiting for them to finish so you can get your piece.
Okay. Okay. What else? What else could be a roadblock?
Offering advice.
Offering advice. And while that seems like you would want to, Christy, the Knack says defensiveness. Absolutely. 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 So giving advice. Yes. Go ahead, Camille.
I think some people just need a release, and they just want to say what's on their mind. They're not necessarily looking for advice. And a lot of times, if you let the person talk enough, they'll come to their own solution or their own answer. Talk it out. Sometimes I feel like people have so much on their mind or in their mind that they just need to free some space up so that the answers can flow in. Right? There's just a compaction of information, and the good stuff that they need to kind of problem solve for themselves is being, kind of convoluted by their own thoughts. So I think that, so I think that as long as you're paying attention and you just let people talk and you're engaged long enough, they'll be like, oh, wait a minute. I just answered my own question. I'm going to tell a little short story. Brit and I were at dinner, was that 2 weeks ago?
Almost 2 weeks ago. Yep.
Yeah, we were at dinner 2 weeks ago, and I don't remember, forgive me, I can't think of right now what specifically she was talking about, but she's like talking and talking. She's like, oh my gosh, I just figured out my own answer. And I was just sitting there the whole time like, okay, let's go ahead. But I think that, not giving advice sometimes, I think that can be a block. But I think that, anyway, that was a long-winded way of saying that I think that just letting people talk, a lot of times it can actually empower them to kind of problem solve for themselves. And you're just kind of a sounding board, and you're just like a referee. You're like, yep, that's in, or, all right, we're on track here. So.
Yep. And I will say, Camille, you were keeping me like in bounds, because I was like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and this is not going right, but this is okay, I think.
Oh.
And I was like, oh.
I'm about to say, was y'all talking about me and Brit argument?
No. We settled that. I didn't have to talk to anybody else about that. We settled that because I was in traffic. So we settled that with traffic, Rockett. We didn't have to bring nobody else into that.
No, I'm like,
and
would you talk about our argument?
No. But yeah, I think it's important.
I think for me, I think it's tone and how you respond back, because sometimes tone, when you hear somebody say something, and if you're not cautious of how you respond, you may take a judgment tone, and they feel like, oh, I'm not sharing no more. I'm not about to share this. I could tell by how they just said that. They like, what? So like tone matters when responding to someone, because it allows them to be more comfortable to respond, or they're going to be defensive and not like going to just shut down. So like that's a block. And like
Absolutely.
what Herbie said, in my own lane, being told how you feel. Being told how you feel,
Yeah.
that's big too.
Yeah.
Nobody wants
Yeah,
to be
he
told how
says,
they
okay, so his
feel.
name is Herbie.
Yeah, his name
Perfect.
Herbie.
He says his block is when the person tells you how you feel when you said you feel a totally different way. Absolutely. I know I get that is one of the set off moments for me. I'm like, okay, stop telling me how I feel. I told you I am perfectly capable of communicating how I feel
Right.
about something.
Right.
So, yeah. But also preaching and patronizing, because sometimes people present issues to you and you want to start giving them the solution, but in the way that you're sitting up on high and looking down on them and telling them how great you are at solving this particular problem, when it's like, but they're not you and this ain't your problem. So
Right.
doing that, interrupting, arguing with them about how they're dealing with a situation, and quick reassurances. If you guys think about it, when somebody says, oh, it's gonna be okay, and you're like, but I didn't tell you that the doctor said I had 10 days. Like, what do you mean it's going to be okay? Quick reassurances can be detrimental when you don't have all the facts and you're just trying to hurry up and get through and not feel the negative energy that person may be about to communicate to you. So I think it's important to remember, to save, to pause before you present. And I think that'll help settle in something. Mind you, I'm not the guru, but I think that I've been in enough arguments where I can see what does and doesn't work. So I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Hey everybody. So, and this is not like super a complex topic, but what do you guys have to say? Any last remarks or any final thoughts about active listening? I'm sure we'll come back to this topic in one shape or form, but what are your thoughts about, or your final thoughts, or things you want to leave people with, and what you have going on in your life that you want to share?
Birthday girl.
Oh, don't put it on me.
It's gonna be on you either way.
It's your birthday.
Hey, okay. I guess just pay more attention to what you're giving off when you're listening to people, because sometimes people can see your gestures and figure out, oh, this person's not listening. Just be cognizant of what you're giving off, and just when you find yourself doing those flaws or doing those blocks, stop it. Like, and don't wait till after the conversation. You feel, oh man, you know what? I feel myself thinking about other stuff. Stop it. Like, before, just tune back in. You know what I mean? So just kind of catch yourself if you feel like you're doing those blocks, and then just go ahead and fix it. Keep tuning in. I guess that's what I would leave, because I need to do that myself.
I love it. Okay.
I do. I'm not even gonna lie. I need to do it myself. So that's what I'm gonna leave it with.
All right. Rockett or Camille?
I think for me, the thing I want to leave off with is just being attentive to the person. I feel like if you're attentive to them, you will be able to read what's going on and know how to respond, how to act, how to the type of listening they need you for, or if they need you to give advice. Like, just be attentive to them, because I'm pretty sure the people that are going to open up to you are going to feel comfortable with you, and you know them enough to know like certain things that trigger them and things of that nature. So just being attentive to what's going on, because a lot of people really just want to be heard. So
At
giving
the
them
end of the
opportunity
day.
to be heard and a safe place to be heard. Sometimes they'll get to the fixing it later. Just let me get it out first, and then we can come back to it later, maybe, if it's not just right off the rip. Like, they still have to process it themselves. So when they're getting it out to you, they might not be ready to listen, but then they'll probably turn back around and like, yeah, so what you think I should do? And then, so that's what I would just say. Just be attentive.
All right. Mill?
Agree.
So I think I'm gonna piggyback off of what Rockett just said. Active listening is about being selfless, really, like when it boils down to it. So I just want everybody to remember that listening is great, but when you're in those moments when people are speaking with you, always remember how wonderful and empowering it is to be heard. So think about the person that is actually communicating with you, because it's a selfless act to be an active listener. So just always remember how empowering it is to be heard.
I love that. You guys are good mentors. I'm just going to leave you guys with a couple of steps, a couple of processes. So 5 steps to active listening and 5 clues that you should be paying attention to. So for the 5 steps of active listening, face the person. And that's head, shoulders, knees, and toes, because where your feet are pointing towards, oh, Lord.
Don't start with the knees.
Oh,
The knees.
the
Where
knees
your
have
feet,
that.
the knees have been to the chat. But where your feet are pointing is where you really want to go. So if you find yourself, if you just look down right now, if you're sitting down with your feet on the floor and see where your feet are pointed, that's where you want to go. Subconsciously, your mind does that. But open your posture up. So no crossed legs, no crossed limbs, and lean slightly toward the person. Maintain eye contact and relax. This dude.
This feel like a crunch. This is a workout right here. Oh yeah.
It's active, Rockett. It's active.
How about this? What if I lean forward
I think
with
Rock started feeling better as this live went on. When he came on, his energy was a little bit, and now my man is ready to go.
Okay, you're welcome, Rockett. Look,
This is what you needed.
you needed a life skill class.
You needed a live.
I'm right here.
So now for the focus on the clues, focus on what the person is saying, how it is being said, and think about the person's view of the topic, not yours. And then the emotions that they're expressing, what the person is trying to achieve, and the person's body language. That's going to tell you everything you need to know with how they're feeling about the situation and how you probably should or should not respond. Okay, Yolo says he just needed to be heard. No, girl, he needed the knees to be seen. That's what he was showing off, his knees.
Listen,
but definitely tell somebody.
This sitting in this position has my glutes hurting. I didn't know this. I don't really sit like this a lot.
So then why would you do it?
What is it? Are you working out? He talking crunches and glute soreness.
Maybe I ain't stretching enough today, but
oh my goodness. Anyway, Rockett also has a podcast called The Black Men's Experience. It runs right now. It's running Sundays 6:30. It's a great platform speaking about the Black men's experiences in life. And he also brings on women to give their points of view of what they're experiencing with the Black men, and how we can be supportive of each other. It's an amazing, I'll tag it in the description, but it's an amazing platform. And his audience and viewership, some of them are in here today. And it's just a great place for us to convene. Also, he has a clothing line that is about to launch. I'm about to steal some of the product because I need a shirt, but humble beginnings. So just look out for that whenever we'll be posting it, because of course we're going to feature it on My Legacy House and all of that. Raina's got 2 businesses going. She has a lash line called Smize Me Lashes, and she also has a natural hair accessory line called Marani Curls. So definitely I'll be plugging in all of their stuff so that you can find it, because we are a community here. This is home and everything starts at home. Follow, like, subscribe. We're on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook as well. But next week we are getting heated because we're jumping into hot button issues next Monday. So hopefully you guys will come back to us on Monday night at 7 p.m. when we talk with 3 more mentors, and we will be discussing hot button triggers. So until next time, we'll see you guys. Be good and happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much, y'all, because Rockett, I know you be eating.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna
Happy
eat
birthday,
a lot.
Raina. Happy birthday, Tess.
I'm trying to do my vegan thing.
We are
This
too
Thanksgiving.
over here. We are too.
Yeah.
Okay. Judgment.
Like,
Let them live. Let them
I feel like
live.
if I choose it, I feel like I've done it before, and when I did do it for the major holidays, it lasted. I was able to, because this is the house. Like, yo, I can eat whatever.
Well, we're
I
gonna be
want.
supportive.
Major holidays, and you can do anything.
So I'm for sure about to try it.
All right. Good night, y'all.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Hey.